everyone, welcome to yet another video. So first off, I'd like to go ahead and open up this video saying, hey, it's last Sunday where I'm currently recording. Now for those of you that don't know, well, last Sunday we hit 100 subscribers. So yay, woo, I don't know how to word it, seriously, I want to say thank you all. Because this is my first chance to go ahead and do that. And yeah, I am absolutely gobsmacked, so thank you to the community. I hope that we can get even more subscribers by the time this video actually goes up. And, well, yeah. But anyway, what are we doing today? Well, today, as you may have noticed, I've been doing a lot of guides with various things, and last week, well, we did a bit of a guide on, well, graphics card care, you know, how you go ahead and replace fill, stuff like that. And maybe you've decided, yeah, I like that. This graphics card's running a lot cooler. What can I do with it? Well, maybe you might want to overclock it. So that is what we're doing today. Doing a sort of rough overview on how you do overclocking on your graphics card. Going to be adjusting the overclock on my GTX 1080, and hopefully it'll go ahead and teach you all something. So you can do this at home if you want. It's more than likely perfectly safe. It's very rare you can damage a card doing an overclock. But let's get into it. Alright, so what you're going to need to go ahead and do this, well, first off, you're going to need some sort of overclocking software like this. What I like to use is MSI Afterburner, mainly because I use an MSI card anyway, so it doesn't make a huge difference. I know a few card manufacturers have their own overclocking software, so it might be a little bit different, but this is the one we'll be using today. What I also like to keep is something along the lines of like Hardware Info 64, so you can keep a good monitor on all the temperatures, stuff like that. Make sure nothing's about to go haywire. See if we can find, there we go, GTX 1080, that's what we want. And what you also want to do is install something like either Firmark or MSI Combustor, something that you can do to go ahead and make sure the card is stable whilst you're doing this. Okay, so we're going to run MSI Combustor. That's hopefully going to open up on this screen here. Yes, it is. Resolution, we'll just run it in 1440. Yeah. Effects scanner, yes. Run stress test. Okay, and that's now running in the background. So as you can see, card's running, that's running, and now we'll actually get into overclocking. So, what do you actually do when you're overclocking? Well, over here on the left, we've got our current speeds. The one on the top, that is the speed that the GPU is currently running at. So that's on its core. The one below it, that is your memory speed. Generally speaking, a much higher memory will make more of a difference than the GPU running faster. Over on the right here, we've got the current voltage that is going through the card, as well as the card's current temperature. Because that's you don't really need something like this, but I prefer to keep it just in case. Okay, as well as along the bottom here we've got a load of graphs that tell us various things about how it's being used, temperatures, stuff like that. Pretty damn nice. Okay, so what we're going to do is, first off, go ahead and have a look how it's currently set. We're going to take it off auto, and we're going to set it to a speed that it's, you know, nice and quiet at, so I think 70. Yeah, that doesn't sound too much louder, that'll be a fine starting point. What we're also going to do is we're going to drag the power limit all the way across. That way the card isn't going to go ahead and slow itself down depending on the actual power limit of the card. And now we can actually get into checking its overclock. So first things first, before you do start messing around with the core clock, memory clock and the core voltage sliders, you want to make sure that you don't have any artifacts here. That essentially means that your overclock's unstable is the best way I can put it. Artifacts are little graphical glitches that are caused by an unstable graphics card or CPU. It's essentially just showing things that aren't quite right. So that is simply scanning to make sure that everything on screen is the way it should be. If it's not the way it should be, it will be counted as an artifact. So say you've got a pixel that's blue and it should be yellow. That would be an artifact, for example. Okay, so now that's running stable, we're going to jump straight into it. Right, I know for a fact that this is pretty safe, so we're going to plus 500 on the memory. Okay, that's running nicely. Step up the core voltage. This is a pretty quick and easy, dirty way of doing it. You don't have to do it this way, I prefer to. But generally speaking, do up the core voltage, so it's 100%, that will allow it to get as much power as it can get to the card itself. And now we start looking at stuff like core clocks, memory clocks and stuff like that. So, see where the temperature is stabilised? So it's around about 67 degrees. It's still climbing slowly, so we want to keep an eye on it. So first things first, I know that this can handle an extra 100 on the core, so we're going to do that. Once you've got a rough baseline on where it's pretty safe, because it's not always going to be a matter of you can add 500 and add 100. It might sometimes be only like add 50 or add 200 or something small like that. So once you've done that, really you want to go up in increments. So first off, let's do the memory. So we see it's pretty stable at 500, so what we're going to do is jump it up by 50 megahertz. Keep an eye on the right to see that there's no artifacts churning up. Okay, let's give us an extra couple of frames per second, that's fine. Okay, let's jump it up to 600, see how it handles that. Okay, still no artifacts, that's perfectly fine. Okay, because we've started to get quite a bit high now, so what we're going to do is do it in increments of 25. So 625. No artifacts, things are looking normal. Temperature is getting a bit toasty, as you can imagine when you're running like this. Okay, so, because I don't want to go ahead and start a blue screen yet, because that will happen when you're doing this. Same again, we're going to do 120 on the core, see how it handles that. Okay, that's jumped up. Couple of extra frames, still no artifacts, that's good. Let's try it again. 140. Again, we're still not getting any artifacts, keeping checking them. Speed sitting at, again, 54 FPS. It's not too high, but it's still an improvement over the original, what, 49, 48 at the start of the video? Okay, so we're going to jump it up again, extra 160. Okay, it's still responding, that's good. Ooh, we're hitting 2 gigahertz now, that's great. Speed, 54 FPS still. Okay, going to go ahead and jump this up an extra 5. Really, this is what most of it will eventually come down to. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, we've hit artifacts. Okay, so as we can tell, that got pretty unstable pretty quickly. So I am going to end that task. We're going to restart Combustor. Right, we're going to take it off auto, set it to 70, yep. So we know that it was pretty stable at 625, and what was it, 140. Go ahead and reset these. Core voltage, yada yada yada, do. And let's put Combustor back on, yada yada yada. Stop opening up that every time I want to open Combustor, please. 2560. Yep. Display OSI, artifact scanner, run stress test. Okay, so we're going to let Combustor reopen up. As you can see, it's again back to 0 artifacts, 54 frames per second, 94% GPU load. That's looking fine. Okay. Oh. Aha, so we already have an artifact here. So what we're going to do is we're going to dial this back. An extra 5 megahertz. See that right there? That is where your issue is, when you've already got artifacts. See if it goes up anymore. If it goes up even more, then we'll go ahead and dial back our memory overclock a bit more. It seems to have stopped at 620. 7. I mean, that's still climbing though, so once that evens out and plateaus at around about, what was it last time, 73 degrees, that's when we'll really be able to see if we're going to get any artifacts or not, and that's when we can start dialing it back until we finally get a stable overclock. But so far, it's looking pretty stable. But yeah, this is essentially all overclocking with graphics card. It's really just slowly getting this as stable as it can. And to be honest, I know that my card can go a bit faster than this because I usually just go full ham with it. Because, tell you what, oh, I saw an extra artifact there, so we'll dial that back a little bit. But yeah, most of the time I wouldn't really go ahead and do this because I do have a preset overclock that runs pretty well on this system. But as you may notice, we've got some very nice Noctua fans in here, excluding that one. That's a bit of a pain in the rear because one of them decided to die, so I'm waiting on the RMA to come through. But anyway, so what I've got is a load of industrial fans in here, excluding those two, because those are the ones that come with the HD15. Essentially that, when it's going full blast, granted it sounds like a jet, but it performs like an absolute god. So of course, for me, I can go ahead and generally run this a lot faster than what I'm currently doing, because I don't really care about noise too much. And we're still getting extra artifacts, that's not good. So we're going to dial you back a little bit. We're going to do you back a little bit. That's the reason why actually on my overclock, see where I got core voltage set to 100%, I've got it set to about 50, so it runs a little bit cooler than this. Which you can do, but generally speaking, the faster that you set your core clock, your memory clock, the more voltage that you're going to need. The less voltage, the less heat. The more voltage, more heat. So it really does become a huge balancing act. Yeah, most of the time though, on this, that'll be running at 100%. All these will be running at 100%. It will push air like you wouldn't believe, but as a result of that, it's also pretty damn loud. But it is looking like we're pretty stable now. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera. Come back to you in about 10 minutes to see if this is stable. If it's stable, so things are going to sound great, and if it's not stable, well, I'll let you know anyway. Okay. 5%, 58, right. Okay, see you all in about 10 minutes. Alright, so got a bit of bad news. Couldn't really get the overclock on the GTX 1080 stable at the settings that we were using, so I've loaded up my usual overclock profile. So the problem was, with the voltage sitting at 100%, plus the fans only sitting at about 70, and, well, with that also being slightly diminished its ability to cool it, considering it's the fan that blows directly onto the graphics card that's gone ahead and decided to die, so I've had to replace with a much weaker one. Well, as you can see, they got a bit toasty. 80 degrees C, card was getting pretty unstable, but putting the fan speed up to 100, core voltage down to 50, things are looking more stable. We've still got a few more artifacts, but that's probably because it is currently running, well in excess of 70. This, generally speaking, sits around 72, maybe 73, something like that. But looking at it, it seems to be a lot more stable. We're back down to about high 50s, seeing it go between 51 and 53 on average. Nicely looking. Artifacts, they haven't increased in a while now. And everything seems to be running fine. I mean, to be fair, I'm not really going to complain about the fan speed being 100% on this, because the GTX 1080, the MSI one with the Frozer fans, they are silent! Like, even at full speed, it's still it is actually the quietest card that I own. And that's with a GT 1030 and a GT 740. Both of which aren't exactly power-hungry noise monsters. Yet my GTX 1080 is still the quietest card, despite being ridiculously more powerful. But looking at it, it seems that we seem to be getting more stable now. We're down to 73 degrees. See what time's that? So about 3 minutes to go ahead and drop an extra 7 degrees, simply just by tweaking those two settings. And as it turns out, I was checking this. What do you know, I managed to get the overclock almost exactly what I normally have it. The only thing was we were a little high on the memory, so that's been back down to 600, which is fine. I mean, a 600 MHz overclock isn't really bad at all. Core clock got 120. When this is nice and cool, when it's not running a little over hot, because the way that Nvidia's Turbo Boost works, basically, the cooler it is, the more stable the boosting mechanics go ahead and deem its speed, and the higher that it will boost the clock speed up to. So obviously you want that as low as possible. My card, in fact, is actually running on liquid metal to get it even cooler than it normally would be. But when it does first start off, like short tasks, anything like that, even, when you first start loading up a game, or you play a game that's several short matches or something like that, this can hit well in excess of, I think, 2100 megahertz, which is quite nice. Let's see, it looks like our temperature is stabilising at 73, which isn't too bad considering, one, that's being diminished, two, things aren't looking too great, and three, that's not even running at full speed. If I remember rightly, if all those fans were working at, 100%, and if I still had the other Noctua A14 in there, that should be sitting actually at around, I think 69, 68 degrees, maybe 67 on a good day. So the fact that it's running like that in a room that's currently a bit hot, because obviously I've got the windows closed so I can get better audio quality whilst I'm recording, that's really not bad. But yes, that's how we overclock. So what I'm going to do now is, close all this out and get set up for a conclusion, and I will see you all, I guess, in a few minutes, unless I forget something. And if I do forget something, I'll of course turn the camera on and say, hey, I forgot this. But yeah, everything's looking fine. Okay. Bit weird doing this the old style. To be honest, I was actually going to record this using, either OBS or Nvidia Shadowplay, but I thought, I'm going to be using a graphics card for that. A graphics card that has a chance at any moment of, crashing, because I may have done a bit too much on the overclock, as you may have seen here. Still no extra artifacts. Yeah, probably not the best idea to try recording whilst you're doing this on the same card. I would use a capture card, but currently I don't have one, because they're kind of expensive. But anyway, right, I will come back to you all in, I guess, a few minutes. Alright then, so that's a brief overview on overclocking the graphics card. Now, before everyone goes ahead and thinks, ooh, doing this on GTX 1080, ooh, why can't you do something more budget? Don't worry, even if you're using a GT 740, a GT 1030, hell, even a GT 710, really basic, nice, cheap and affordable cards, to be honest, overclocking's a really good idea on them. I've seen quite a few times, in fact. I think it's David Does Tech or something. Yeah, David Does Tech, that's the name of the channel. Yeah, where he overclocked GT710, he managed to get some, almost double the frames out of it, just by overclocking it. Now, of course, I'm not recommending you go out and buy a GT710 and overclock it, because even still, it is still a terrible buy. Don't get one. But if you do even have, a more budget-oriented card, or even you just happen to have one of those cards lying around from an old office machine, it still makes a pretty compelling argument to just overclock them, because, hey, it's essentially free performance, if you exclude the extra power costs, which is practically negligible in the first place. You do get extra frames out of it, especially on lower-end cards. The effect is far more pronounced. Because, you can get a far bigger overclock on a small card than, something like a GTX 1080, because it's already pulling, 200 watts. You overclock it, it'll start pulling 220, 230, and even with the beefy coolers, it's still going to go ahead and run into that power limit. So, yeah, even on a budget card or a mid-range card, literally anything, I recommend overclocking. It's fun to do. Yeah, it can be a bit infuriating at times, pulling your hair out, just trying to get it just right, get that extra couple of megahertz. But outside of that, when it works perfectly fine, it is a dream. You can get free performance, which is always nice. Always, always, always nice. And hey, you can say, look at me, my overclocked, I don't know. That'll be a funny thing to go ahead and overclock. Look at me with my ridiculously overclocked GT 1030. It's running at twice the normal speed. I mean, it would be absolutely ridiculous. It'd be a really bad value for money, but it'd make for an interesting point. In fact, I'll tell you what, if you are really interested in the idea of that, I will set up my little machine there, which I normally have sitting up here, up with either a GT 740 or a GT 1030, you know, a basic card, and we will overclock the snot out of it and see what happens. So if you want to see that, leave a comment or like the video. I'll decide at some point in the future I've reached enough to warrant it. But yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much everything I've got to say about why you should overclock. Budget card, expensive card, it's worth doing. It's free performance. Yeah, it might get unstable in the future as the card ages, but you know, you can always dial that back. And well, again, I just want to say thank you for the 100 subscribers. It has been an absolute pleasure doing this. Like, doing this stuff with tech, this is my absolute passion. Yeah, I know I do a lot with the gaming side of the channel, and that's mainly because I can only afford to really do so much with the tech. But when I do, I absolutely love doing this stuff, you know? So thank you all for subscribing. I hope that you stick around, and well, seriously, just thank you guys. Anyway, I think I've probably been dragging this video on for long enough, and yes, I don't have a watch. I still look like I had a watch anyway. Anyway, I best jump on to the conclusion then. So, if you like the video, leave a like. If you dislike it, leave a dislike. I would say if you wanted what was featured in the video, I'll leave it in the description, but considering that what I will be leaving will be a free piece of software, which of course I'll put in anyway, because I'm nice like that. And well, of course, a graphics card you can only get second hand. I'm not going to put the graphics card in there. But I will probably put in some sort of relatively similarly powerful card. Anyway, so, like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. I'll leave those links that I've already mentioned in the description below. Don't forget to go ahead and check out the description for links to my various pages, such as my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, stuff like that. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for more content from me, the 117th Con. This has been an absolute pleasure. This is the 117th Con, signing off. Have a great day, folks, and I will catch you next time.